Hey everyone! Welcome back for another episode of the Home Show Unlimited, and today we have a very special guest with us. So he is the CEO and founder, the man behind We Communities Inc., Mr. CESAR Wee. Hi Sir
Hi.
CESAR!
Hello, Alex. How are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being with us here on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. Excited to learn from you, especially with your nice, warm light background.
The background talaga. No, I'm more excited to learn from you kasi I already know all about Weecomm from Sir Carter and yung mga details ng how yung project details niyo from Mr. Carson and Mr. Carter. So ngayon naman, we want to know more about the man behind Weecomm. So how did you start? How did you come to start this in this business, and why did you choose to start your own real estate company?
Okay, I'll give you the short version, Alex. So around 1998, I graduated from college. I graduated from Ateneo. So again, like most children of business owners, we were forced or brainwashed to go and work for our parents. So
Forced talaga.
forced and brainwashed. And then of course, for me as the son of my dad, it was really a dream for me to work with my dad and my siblings. We're 6 siblings kasi, Alex, 5 boys and 1 girl. So me and my brothers were in a way very close because we're all boys. We used to fight each other every day. So we were really excited to work with each other. But when I started working for my dad, we just put up our first real estate company. So we did our first project in Quezon City. I was assigned to do marketing and sales. But again, I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared for that job. I did not learn from anyone. I wasn't able to talk to people who were in the real estate.
You jumped
Yes,
into
I
it.
was dropped into it and expected to succeed, miraculously succeed. So after a few years, I wasn't able to sell a lot of condo units. I had
that was your
a lot
family's
of
first venture into real estate.
our family's first venture. Yeah, our family's first venture. And there was already a lot of friction in our family because my dad wasn't happy, my brothers weren't happy, I wasn't also happy with myself. I didn't want to blame anyone, but it just didn't work out. So fortunately, someone from the bank, I met someone from the bank. There was a property right across our house. I think it was selling for around 5 million that time. So I asked my brothers, I said, can I borrow some money and then I'll buy this property and I'll build a small building just to prove to my dad na hindi ako palpak, I'm not a failure. I can do this as long as I have full control. So when I talked to the person from the bank, she said, before you do that, can I introduce you to someone? So she introduced me to Jerry Choa from Proof Friends. So what happened was, I think around early parang 2002, I met with Jerry Choa, and then I talked to him, and then we had a very long 5-hour conversation the first time we met. And then I realized I was doing everything wrong. And then I asked him if he could teach me. And then he said yes. He said I can work for him. And then I went home that day, told my dad that I'm resigning. And then I went
for someone
to
else.
Yeah, I went to work for someone else. My dad at the start, he was a little bit confused. He actually did a credit background on Mr. Jerry Choa, and nakita naman niya he's a good developer, very very respected in the business. But I guess siguro that time we never knew about the concept of mentorship, that people will teach you about their business, teaching you all of the secrets of their business. But that's I guess I'm very lucky to have met my mentor. So I worked for him for around 5 years. I did all of his projects. Unlike me working in the family business, there I was treated like a normal employee, and I started from the very, very, very bottom. My first jobs were I was a messenger, I was a driver, I would
So you were all around, basically.
uh, all
All-around
around,
person.
but from bottom to the top. I still remember giving out flyers in a busy street in Cavite. So that's how I started in real estate. Again, it's two different routes. The one I took in my family and the one I had with pro friends. But yun nga, again, it helped me a lot. Now I have my own company. It's not just because I know how everyone should work, but it's how I appreciate how hard people work, especially at the bottom. So
Because you've seen it for yourself firsthand when you were with pro friends.
yes, I've seen it for myself. But yun nga, Alex, when I did that for pro friends, I wasn't a messenger naman for 1 year. I was a messenger maybe for a week. Parang I took different jobs every week. But to be honest, I don't know, maybe because I came from the family business and I was a boss there. But when I was in Pro Friends, I can honestly say my first year, I wanted to resign every week. I
Did you
really
have a
wanted
hard
to
time?
resign.
Did you have a hard time with the jobs that you were doing? Like being a messenger, a driver, etc.
I had a hard time, yes, but it's not just a hard time. It's parang I did not understand what I was doing. Parang, of course, diba, I'm a graduate from a good school, so I was expecting that I would be given tasks that were more complicated. But yun nga, to be honest, if I didn't go through that, I would not have a company culture that we have right now, that we take care of each other, we try to understand where each other is coming from. So again, our company started with very little money. All we have is really yun nga, an idea, the intention to also uplift our employees and to take care of each other. So yun nga, our route is very different from the normal and traditional real estate companies.
And looking back also, I can see na based on your story that Mr. Choa really had this intention of mentoring you because he allowed you to see everything, all aspects of his business. I mean, from the lowest to the highest level.
Yes, actually that, and he allowed me to make a lot of mistakes. That's something I never had in the family business. To have that wiggle room to make mistakes and to learn from it and to be accountable. That's something I really appreciate. Imagine
Like how would he treat you if you messed up, for example?
Actually, he never got mad at me. That's the nice thing about Mr. Jerry Cho. What he did was, for example, let's say for my first project in Cavite, it sold very well. But I wasn't able to award the houses on time. So most of the houses were somewhat delayed. He did not get mad at me, but every Monday we would have these open meetings with brokers and even buyers. So anyone could just go to the office, and then all of us project directors would be there in front. And I had brokers and buyers say bad things about me, curse me, call me at night and tell me that where is my house? I have a leak in my house. I'm not
That was
happy.
so savage.
Yes. So the technique of Uncle Jerry Cho was very different. He did not get mad at me, but 100 people got mad at me.
But he let you face the consequences.
Yes. And he didn't save me from it. I had to go to the site every day to make sure the houses were built. I had to talk to every one of the buyers and assure them that, okay, we're delayed, but give me a month or two. Yes. So that's why, that's also part of the culture that we have here in Weecomm, that we pride ourselves in delivering houses on time.
Because you already learned from your previous mistake.
Yes. It's a very tough pill to swallow when you have people getting mad at you and telling you that this is my life. this is where I'm going to live, and there's a problem with my house. It's very personal for our clients. So that's also how we feel about what we do in this business. It's also very personal for us.
Yeah. I think also one of the reasons why some developers get delayed is because there's really no fine or something, or there's no consequence from the government. Because I had this Japanese client before. He bought a property here in Cagayan with one of the developers, and then they promised like a certain schedule, like a certain month and year, and then it got delayed by almost 3-4 months, almost, yeah, I think around that time. And he was not accustomed to that, because he said that in Japan, if you would get like 1 day delayed, there would already be a penalty to pay by the developer. So that's why all developers, the developer would be penalized for any delay. So all developers there, they usually turn over their project on time, because the government is very strict with delays.
Yeah.
And any promises in general.
Yeah, and I guess, Alex, it's also part of yung culture of the Japanese, diba? Parang I know even sa time of their buses to go to the bus stop, if they're early, the bus won't go to the bus stop. They'll stop a few meters before, and then if they're late, they really say sorry. But parang it's a culture talaga eh. But sa atin naman, again, you're right. There's no strict penalties imposed by the government. But it's somewhat of a known reality that developers are delayed, and it's accepted by a lot of people. But again, we cannot change other people's culture. But sa amin in this company, that's what we teach our partners, teach our project directors, and that's also what we convey to our brokers, that again, I'm not saying that we have projects that are always on time. Of course, we have delays, but I think what we're trying to do is, before the delay happens, we talk to the clients and tell them, this is the timetable, this is the adjusted timetable. We're sorry for the inconvenience, but we'll try to hit the targets. Parang it's really more communication
that would
talaga.
really be helpful, like because there are some times that we cannot, there are really delays, like there are some things that we cannot control. But at least if there's proper communication from the developer, the client will feel at ease or not so anxious about their house getting delayed.
Correct, Alex. Kaya nga, in the structure that we have in Weecomm, we train project directors, and these project directors are also partners in the project. So, for example, si Carter, Carter is a project director for Intalio. He's also a partner in Intalio. So when you talk to him, it's just like talking to the owner already. It's just like talking to us. So it's not like talking to someone in the company who doesn't have an answer. Carter will always have an answer to all of the problems in Intalio.
Okay. So you mentioned that you were with ProFriends for 5 years. So why did you leave ProFriends to start your own company? Or what made you decide to even start your own company?
Okay.
Why not go back to the family business? Because most Chinese I know, they're with the family business.
Actually, my journey was again very unique. So when after 5 years, I was also doing a project for my family. It's called the W Tower in BGC. So we launched it around 2007. This was my in a way, the prodigal son going back to the family project.
The prodigal son returns.
The prodigal son returns. So I went back to the family business. I told my brothers and my dad, I think I know what I'm doing. Give me one chance to redeem myself. So we just recently bought a property in BGC that time. It was a BGC, which was still in its infancy stages. So we did a 16-floor development. It was a residential development, and we sold it out in 3 months. So
how many units was that?
For a 16-story building, we only had 50 units, 50.
Okay. So
yes, 50.
Bigger,
we
the
did
floor area was bigger. It had bigger floor
the smallest unit we had was around 80 square meters, and
80?
the biggest one we had was 80.
That's
and then the
huge.
biggest one was 180. All our units there were bi-level. So meaning we put the house concept inside buildings. And
I
then we
wonder
delivered the
how
units
much that's
there.
worth now. Yung isang
I'm
unit.
sure, okay, just as a,
I mean, it's a bi-level.
yeah,
That's 80
just
to
as
180.
an example, Alex, yeah, just as an example, one of my first buyers, which was my friends who supported me, of course, he bought one unit from me, and then syempre, they were paying 20 to 30% down payment before the building finishes, diba? So right before the building finished, he had to move to Australia. So he told me maybe I can sell the unit, and then because I need to go to Australia. So we sold this unit. So basically, I think he gave a down payment of maybe around 3 million. 2 million down payment. 2 or
How
3
much
million
was
down
like the
payment.
how much was the total contract price for that? Do you still remember?
I think the contract price for that was around 8 million. They was around 8 million. The down payment was around maybe 2 to 3 million. So when we sold the unit, he actually made around 3 million after that because we sold the unit for, I think, around 11 to 12 million. But of course, he just put out his down payment of 30%, diba? So that's around 2.5 million only. And then he made 3 million. And then that was maybe in a span of 2 years.
That's really fast appreciation.
Yeah. But again, it's a perfect scenario. We got into BGC early. We did that project that was clearly very unique versus other developments that were just 40 square meters. So it was really a perfectly planned and perfectly positioned project, if I may say so myself.
But that's the thing with real estate. Timing is everything.
Yeah, timing is everything. Kami naman, timing is everything. Having a unique product also at that right time is also something that we're very proud of. When we went into Davao a few years ago, the first house that we put there was a four-bedroom house. It's I think in an 88 on 80 house model, and then we sold it for 2.5 million only. At that time, people were selling 2-bedroom houses for around 2 million. So there's a clear disparity, but I guess developers that time did not realize that a 4-bedroom house would be accepted in the market. Because pag housing kasi usually you start very small. But we don't really think that small is always good.
So why did you decide to put up your own company? What's your vision for Weecomm?
Actually, the decision wasn't premeditated. So I went back to work for my dad. I was closing the project in ProFriends.
You redeemed yourself already.
Yeah, I redeemed myself. Everyone was happy. And then our family went and bought more properties in BGC because we were so successful. But I guess it's really irreconcilable differences between me and my dad. We really couldn't work together. And I don't blame him. I have a very weird working habit. I don't usually work in the morning. I work at night. I do a lot of I do a lot of my thinking at night, Alex.
So what time do you sleep and what time do you wake up?
I usually sleep around 3 o'clock.
Really?
But I don't wake up early, Alex. I wake up at 11 o'clock.
11 or 12.
I wake up at 11.
So you're a night person. Yes,
I'm a night person because at night I can work without anyone bothering me. I'm usually a very finance oriented person, so I do a lot of work on my Excel sheets.
My husband is the same way. He works at night. He loves finance and Excel sheets, which I cannot relate to.
Yeah, and I always tell people in the office I'm really an introvert, but since I'm a CEO, I need to talk more. But I love those moments when I'm just at home working on my laptop, diba?
But you seem like an extrovert, or at least that was my first impression of you when we met during the launching.
Yeah, these are the roles we have to take when you're in real estate. you can't be quiet the whole time. You have to be always selling, always talking about your product, always trying to share information with other people. But again, I'm sorry I didn't answer your question.
Yeah, why did you start We Communities? Yeah,
Yes.
I actually read your story. There was this whole article about you which was so long.
Yeah. Sorry for the but
No, I enjoyed
sorry for
reading
that
it.
long
No?
article. But in a nutshell, me and my dad, we still were not working well together, despite the success of the projects that we made together. I remember this one time because I was staying in that building that we developed. I bought a unit there, so I was married. We had my wife was taking care of our 1-year-old baby. So I had a big argument with my dad. I went home, and then I had a big argument with my wife but she didn't do anything wrong. She was also tired taking care of our son. So that's when I realized this is not the life that I wanted. I didn't want to be at odds with my dad, and I didn't want to have this negative personality going home every day.
Yeah.
So
Which
I told my
happens
wife.
if you're stressed at work.
Correct. So I told my wife, I said, hey, I don't want to fight with my dad anymore. Would it be okay with you if I start my own company and at least control my time, and at least I won't be this bad mood person every day? And my wife agreed to it. That's why my wife has been with me when I started my company, before I started my company, when I was working for my dad, when I left the family business. So my wife knew what was really important, which was, I guess, my peace of mind, the harmony of our family. So she took that risk with me. she accepted that I will not work for the family business. So I have to start everything from zero. But yeah, so far the journey has been an interesting one. It wasn't easy,
What were your
but it was very
challenges?
fulfilling.
What were your challenges when you were a new developer? Because starting a development company is not easy. There are so many things that you need to look at. Like, I was able to talk to several developers, and ang dami po talagang titingnan. It's such a hard business to get into, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, actually, one is obviously I didn't have capital because I was not working for my dad, and my dad did not invest in my company. So I had to borrow money from my wife, my wife's family, some of my friends. That was one. That's the obvious obstacle. But for me, doing my first project in San Juan, it was a 7-story project.
That's Baron Residences?
Yes, it's the first Baron Residences. It's a 7-story project, and I used the same model that I did in BGC. All units are bi-level, all big cuts. But the biggest obstacle I had was really not being able to work with people. I was working with my wife. My wife was my somewhat bookkeeper, and then it was just me and then one secretary, and a lot of brokers that were not in-house. So they were casual brokers. The biggest problem I had was really not having people to bounce ideas with. So that's something I had all the time. When I was working for my dad, I used to talk to my brothers a lot. When I was working for Uncle Jerry.
Your brothers are still with your dad?
Yes. All of my siblings are still working for my dad. And very high paid. Very well paid.
Magpalibre ka na lang sa kanila.
Yun nga. Sumasakay na lang ako sa kotse nila paminsan para I feel
Makihitch ka na lang.
I feel
Tapos,
also
when you're eating out, this is your bill ha, kasi malaking sweldo mo.
Yeah, something like that. And it's really the lack of someone to talk to, lack of a person to bounce ideas with. So that was the biggest obstacle.
How do you overcome that?
Actually, during my first project, I would always tell people who I wanted to work with what I was doing. Parang in a way, tinatry ko silang i-inggit na, hey, I have my own business. I don't report to my dad. I can do anything I want. I can sleep late. I can exercise the whole day. No one gets mad at me. So I was trying to lure some of my friends. Fortunately, I was able to do that. I got my first partner for our second Baron project, which is the Baron's Place.
Was that Sir Carson?
No, it wasn't.
Iba
It wasn't
pa.
Carson. It wasn't
Okay.
Carson. It was my It was the brother of my sister-in-law. So he's actually one of my good friends. His name is Christian Yap. So he also worked for the family business, but
So you lured him away from the family business.
I lured him away, yes, but I also got him at the right time. To be honest, Alex, my story is a story of a person who is very, very, very lucky. So at that time, they had a family business that was also into real estate. They used to do a lot of big buildings in Mandaluyong, but they had some family problems, so he was left without a job. So perfect timing.
Okay. So timing talaga is everything.
Timing, yeah. We
luck.
talked about it. He bought in some shares of the company, and then he took over sales and marketing. So I was able to focus more on finance and construction.
Which is
So
more of
this-
your strength. Like
More of
finance,
my strength.
Like the,
being an introvert,
Yung
Alex.
mga OC na mga tasks.
Yes. Being an introvert, diba, Alex? I don't like selling to people or trying to butter
Really,
them up.
that's what I love. I love sales
Actually,
and marketing.
It's very exciting, Alex. It's just parang, for me, it's not tangible. It's different eh. Parang finance is very tangible, and with finance kasi things
You can
become
track
easier.
everything. You can track everything. You have more
Correct.
clarity with your decision making.
Correct. Actually, that's what I keep telling people eh. Maybe 80% of people go to business just because of instinct or gut feel, but they never do the finance work. But finance tells you instantly if it will work or not.
Actually,
Correct.
ganyan ako. Mabuti na lang I got married to my husband who's the finance guy. So he was the one who sat me down and put everything in Excel and all that.
That's good. Actually, that's a good combination, Alex, because if you're both finance people, it won't work eh. There has to be a balance.
Yeah, so I'm the marketing person / media, ganyan, sales marketing. Siya yung finance guy. He's the OC type who researches and double checks everything.
Perfect. That's perfect.
So is your wife
yun nga
ba
eh.
your opposite? Is your
Yeah,
wife the marketing person?
Actually, at that time, my wife is not a marketing person. Actually, my wife is before we got married, she was into market research. So she would be in a company that did market statistics. So she's actually my she actually confirms or tells me if my product will sell or not, just by not really by doing her research, but more of her instinct on who the market is, what the product we're putting out will work or not. She's very good at it. So again, but if it's just the two of us, kulang pa rin. We need salespeople, we need someone from operations, we need a lot more things. That's why eventually I parted with Carson and his brothers to really fill in all of the positions of the company.
Yeah, parang when you got Sir Carson, you nakuha mo yung lahat ng Chowa brothers.
That's true.
They all
actually
come in together?
Yes, Anna. At the start, it was only Carson and Carter. Then I guess si Carson was also very careful partnering with me. We were very good friends in Pro Friends. So I always tell people we're 1 and 2 in Pro Friends in terms of the students that came out of that company. Carson being the 1 and me being the 2.
So he was with Pro Friends before you got him to
we got there
join.
together. We got in together because Jerry Chowa is the uncle of Carson. But Carson left earlier because he had to go back to their family business. I did not want to leave Pro Friends because I did have a family business to go back to, but fortunately, Uncle Jerry fired me, so I had no choice but to leave.
He had a bigger vision for you.
Yeah, a vision that I'd never realized that time. And if I were Uncle Jerry, I wouldn't have done it. I would have kept CESAR inside Pro Friends.
He's very selfless. I think yung mga mentors talaga, they're very selfless.
Yeah,
They know
yeah,
na
yeah.
when to train, when to let go.
Yeah, there's really wisdom in mentors. That's what I keep telling people. They've gone through a lot. It's not just the age; it's really more the experience and foresight. So I was very fortunate that he fired me. I don't think you'll hear that line from anyone else.
And so after that, after you were able to recruit your first parang partner sa business, when did Sir Carter come in? I mean, Sir Carson come in? Like
Sila
how
Carson,
many years down the line?
yeah, I started the business in 2008, and then Christian Yap joined me in 2011. So I was alone for 3 years. Carson
Alone
joined me
talaga?
alone, alone talking to my brokers and my secretary, and no one telling me I was wrong. That's not a good formula. People have to tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So Carson and the brothers joined me around, I think, 2013, 2014.
So what
And then
happened? Like what changes happened when they joined? Or once you started having partners that you could talk, you could bounce off ideas with, what was the difference?
well, the biggest difference was they were very professional. Sa amin kami, when we started the company, until even when Christian was part of the company, it was still very mom and pops. Parang we only had one accountant, we had one admin person. It wasn't really a big company, and we really didn't want to make a big company, Alex. We really just wanted to do our small niche projects in San Juan, all 7 stories, all just catering to our friends. But I was also held back because I knew me myself, I cannot run it bigger. I cannot do a bigger company without more partners. So when Carson joined the company, that's when we started really expanding. We bought several properties in Quezon City. We were already going around the provinces to look at properties. So that's really the biggest change. Parang I was really more confident.
You were able to
Yeah,
expand.
I was really more confident that with Carson, I replicate myself. So there's another CESAR, but better, and who doesn't wake up late. and
So he's a morning
and,
person.
and the morning person. And it's really the sense of parang I feel that I'm working again with my brothers. I was working again with my family. That's really the biggest thing that I got out of it. When we would spend time together sa office, it's not like we're working, Alex. It's like we're just hanging out, talking.
Very chill. That's what I noticed when I met Francine and when I met Sir Carter and Sir Carson also in the launching. Like, I noticed that you have a chill vibe sa company.
Yeah, it's really ano talaga. It's really we didn't plan it to be this way. Na it's like family, but that's how it happened. Because I guess siguro I miss working with my brothers, and then si Carson and his brothers are really parang the
Really
people I see
family.
more often. And they're really brothers, of
They're
course.
really brothers.
And then si Christian is really my best friend. So we really parang jived eh. Parang we're a group of guys just hanging out basically.
And building projects together.
Yeah, building projects on the side.
So what's your biggest lesson, like as a new developer, that you can share, especially to those who aspire to become developers? Because really, we need more developers in the Philippines. There are only a handful of developers here. That's why kulang tayo sa housing.
Yes. Actually, well, number one, that's why we have a mentorship program in our company. Well, the biggest.
How do we sign up for the mentorship program?
Actually,
How does it
people
work?
just.
How does it work?
Well, people just send us their resumes. Usually, the best mentorship partnership or the best mentorship setup is really when we have friends who have properties that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to develop. So that's when the conversation starts. They go to us, and then if they cannot actively join our company, they send a relative to work with us. It's usually their kids or their nephews, their nieces. And then they learn the business. They're also somewhat of an auditor, meaning they make sure that all the funds are really going to the company. They're a co-signatory of all our checks. So that's when that conversation happens. But of course, we also have people that we mentor that don't have properties, but that's a more that's a longer process because we want them to be partners. We want them to invest. We want them to handle a project that they have a stake in it. So those are the two routes into our mentorship program.
Okay. So what was your biggest lesson in starting your own business?
Well, the biggest lesson is find a mentor.
Which you were lucky enough to be able to do.
I was lucky enough to be able to parang stumble into meeting my mentor. But when I ask people, for example, a mentor doesn't have to be someone you work with. A mentor can be someone that you just talk to occasionally. For example, when I meet people, like for example, I met Uncle Hansi from the SM Group and China Bank, and I asked them. I said, "Hey, Uncle, can I know I'm a nobody, but can I visit you in the office and just have a small chat with you for 30 minutes?" So I usually
you go
find
out
that
of your way to find.
They go out of their way. Actually, I noticed that these people who are entrepreneurs, who are heads of their companies, who have really nothing to prove anymore, are really very generous
with their time. Especially
with
their time.
with
That's
their
the biggest
teaching.
resource.
Correct. And for someone like him, who's a top 10 richest person in the Philippines, to give me 30 minutes of his time for breakfast, that was really a very
A humbling experience.
very humbling experience. And if someone like him can have time to talk to people, and then everyone else under him should also have that mindset. But when I tell people that, for example, you're in another business and then you're finding a mentor, I just say, who is your competitor? Who are the people who are very good in your industry? And then just have a chat with them. Just talk to them. It's if they don't want to talk to you, they feel that you're a future competitor, then probably they're not that big or they're not that secured. But if you really love your industry, if you love to see our nation progress faster, you teach, you share information, you help each other.
Okay, yes, well said. I really agree with it's really a good thing, a great thing that you're doing, the mentorship program, because through that, a lot of the next generation, they're really also learning from you how it is to become a developer, which is something that is hard to do to begin with.
Actually, it is hard to do, but if you have a mentor, it's not hard to do anymore. It's hard to do if you're coming in blind and you don't do anything. You know very little about the business. Again, little knowledge is very dangerous. If you have someone who thinks he knows what he's doing, but he only knows how to sell units, that's not going to make you a good developer. So you really have to know everything about it. You don't have to be the best, but you really need someone to teach you. It's not something they teach in school. It's not something you teach through books. It's something you teach through experience. It's something you teach through bouncing ideas with someone who has done it before.
That's why Weecomm is very particular with, if you go into a new city or a new province, you really partner with a local, because that's what Sir Carson said.
Yes, actually.
More into partnerships.
Yes, actually, we won't go into a new area without getting a local partner. And this partner, hopefully, is someone that's our friend already. That's one. And secondly, someone who has a different vision for that area. Like, for example, for CDO with Roger Chu.
With Magnum.
Yes, with Magnum, the Magnum Group. Short story about that. I met Roger around 11 years ago when we were giving relief goods for the victims of Typhoon Sendong. That's when I met him. And then I saw a person who was extremely successful, but did not the success didn't go to his head. I saw him walking through um, kilometers of mud just to give out relief goods, to give out beds. Um, he was very gracious and very humble. So that's the type of partners that we were looking for. He's not into the real estate business, but his goal, his dream is really to give people of CDO a nice house, a decent house that you'd be proud of, not just a box, not just a place that you go to sleep. It's really a house that you'd be proud of, a house that you invite your friends to come over. So that was really the conversation I had with Roger 11 years ago. But unfortunately, we weren't able to find a property that we could develop. That's why I always say Intalio Estates has been a project that we've been thinking of for the past 10 years.
So 10 years in the making.
10 years in the making,
And it's
yes,
so amazing,
correct.
no? You never know what happens because your former boss is now your partner as well with this project, Intalio Estates.
Yes, yes. Intalio Estates is a joint venture project between our group, Weecomm, and Magnum, the Magnum Group, and also a property company of friends. It's also a validation that our mentor thinks that we are good developers, to say the least.
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy.
Can deliver.
Yes,
Because you
yes.
won't partner
that,
with someone that you don't trust.
Exactly. And again, we speak the same language because we've studied what he did, and he was personally the one that was teaching me and Carson. So it's very fulfilling. After 13 years of doing the business and then going back to working with my mentor, it's really very fulfilling.
Okay, so my last question is, what are the 3 characteristics you believe that every developer should have?
Okay, so one is really the love for the community. You can't just go into any community and then build any house. You can't go to a community and build a mansion. You cannot go into a community and then build a cave. You really have to dive into the community, know the people that live there, know what they want, know about their lifestyle, know what will make them happy. So that's one. It's really embracing the community. Secondly, we always want to be. Again, we're not a big developer. At the most, we're a mid-sized developer. But what we always can do for the market is we can always have that product that is a little bigger and a little more expensive compared to the bigger companies or the bigger developers out there. We don't have to be greedy. We don't have to make the most money. The point of the matter is, if we can provide a house for you that is cheaper than our competitors, that is bigger than our competitors, the margins are secondary. Of course, we're not into this business as a charity. We also make money, but our margins are dependent on, can we give that house that is perfect for this community, that's very affordable for the people in that community. And maybe number 3 is embrace what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, love your partners, enjoy working with the people in your company. Life is too short to be this shark, to be this to be this mean person working and not enjoying what you're doing. Yeah. Life is about making connections. Life is about helping one another, enriching each other's lives. So again, we don't get too overwhelmed with figures, with money, with financial gains. It's all secondary. We're just enjoying the moment. We're just trying to help out as many people as we can through the industry that we're in. So that's really all you can ask for, diba, in this life.
Yeah, that's so inspiring, Sir CESAR. I love your company culture. Mag-a-apply na ako.
Thank you. Again, company cultures happen, but it's not something we can force. It's just really, I guess, how it was built and the background of the the founders, myself,
It's
the
really
Choa
closely
brothers.
connected to who the founders are.
Yes, yes. Parang syempre we've gone through a lot on career-wise and on our personal lives. So it's really how our experiences shape the culture of our company.
So would you like to share anything else? How can they find you or Weecomm? Any last any plugs na gusto mong gawin?
Well, to the people of CDO, please visit our bottle unit in Tally Estates. When you meet my partner, Carter Choa, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. If you want to ask him questions, go ahead. We hope this culture of ours of being approachable and being hands-on in our projects trickles down to our employees. It's something that I think our hardworking Filipinos deserve. Again, life is not easy. Working is not easy. Regardless of when you're on top or when you're at the bottom, everyone still works hard, and the money that we make from our salaries, this is not something that is given to us. So we in Weecomm, we in Tally Estates, that's our promise to our clients that we will give you the home that you deserve, the home that you worked hard for, the home that will make you and your family happy.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Carson. I mean, Sir CESAR, we really learned so much from you today, and also hi to the Choa brothers.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for
allowing
having me.
me to interview you guys, because they were all. I was able to interview Sir Carson and Sir Carter as well, but you flew in a little bit later than them, so sayang I wasn't able to interview you in person. Baka next time.
Yes, of course. We'll always be in CDO. We always, since the economy is opening up again, we have to go around our provincial project. So hopefully, we'll see you in CDO, Alex.
Sige, I'll interview you in person, Sir CESAR, the next time that you're here in Cagayan de Oro.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Sir CESAR. So that concludes
Thank you, Alex. Take care.
Episode for today, and I'll see you again at the next episode only here at the Home Show Unlimited. Bye, Sir CESAR. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Alex. Bye.
Bye.